Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of the Omniverse Chronicles, Star Wars, Force, and Destiny. And the Force is very strong with Twitch chat tonight, considering they have already force pushed the hype train off of its tracks. Well done. So, hi everybody, I'm Kim, a cast member on the Crit Show. I am joined here by Rev. Say hi.
Hello.
And then I'm also joined by a cavalcade of guests. So I would love it if our guests could just introduce themselves, please. Let people know where they can find you and what you're up to.
So I am bumping my microphone. I am Andrew Mours. I will be running the game tonight and for the next foreseeable future. As we, well, that's how.
You're holding us hostage.
Trying really hard to talk myself into a job here. I will be running the Star Wars arc.
I don't think we can afford you.
Up to a great start. And I am so excited to be running this game and diving into the world of Star Wars with all of you. If you want to find me online, you can find myself and pictures of my kids at Andrew Mours on Twitter, and that is the extent of my online presence.
I guess I'll go next. Hi, I'm Will. You can find me on, where can you find me? Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube as LARP Analysis. I occasionally do stuff there. Most of my stuff is kind of like costumey type things and talking about LARPs, that thing that I do quite a lot, which is probably the nerdiest of hobbies that could exist. But it does exist, and someone has to do them, and I've valiantly taken that role upon myself. So, cheers.
Hi, I'm Percy, professional wrestler, commentator, guy. Y'all can catch me on Twitter at BigPurseUniverse, and that is also the extent of my online presence. And you can see me be wild and post clips of me body slamming people. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, now I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Andrew. Andrew, tell us about Star Wars, Force, and Destiny.
So, how much time do we have?
3 hours.
Okay.
Not a minute over.
I'll have to keep it brief then. I am so excited to bring Star Wars, Force, and Destiny to the Omniverse Chronicles with all of you. It has been one of my favorite games to play over the last few years, not just because I love Star Wars almost as much as I love my children, but just because the game is designed in such a way to encourage narrative storytelling through the dice. So the way this game works, and I apologize, I'm going to get a bit nerdy here for a second. There's one part of the rules that I want to quickly explain, and that is the dice. Please bear with me, and if we have any viewers at the end of this spiel, I'll be very excited.
And you left.
If you're in like the... Let's see if I can make it through the spiel. If you're in the TTRPG sphere, you may have heard of these dice. In Fantasy Flight Star Wars, you roll dice specific to this RPG system. There's 7 types of them, and if you're watching, you do not need to know what each die is or means. Thank you, Rev. But what you do need to know is what the outcomes of those dice rolls mean. So, in most RPGs, you're rolling dice with numbers to try and hit a certain target. But in Star Wars, there are 6 possible outcomes that come from rolling: successes and failures, advantages and threats, and triumphs and despairs. Now, if your successes outnumber your failures, you succeed at what you're trying to do. If your advantages outweigh your threats, other positive things come out of your roll that are independent of the overall roll succeeding. Triumphs and despairs are the equivalent of a critical hit or a critical fumble. They each count as a single success or failure respectively, but carry additional larger ramifications. Now, what makes these dice fun, in my opinion, is the narrative aspect of them. Advantages, threats, triumphs, and despairs can all have simple mechanical ramifications, but they can also add a lot of flavor to an otherwise straightforward action. Let's say you succeed at shooting your opponent, but generate 2 threats from the roll, Will. You just potentially exposed yourself to your enemies, giving them an advantage on their next attack, or maybe you got in, say, Rev's way, making his next check harder. Apologize to Rev, Will.
Sorry, I think the threat is my character having a blaster, because, oof.
Now, let's say you're at a terminal, hacking into a network, and you fail the roll, but with a number of advantages. You could potentially obtain otherwise useful information from the terminal you're using, or maybe shut down some unencrypted nefarious system. You can get something good, even though you're not succeeding at what you were trying to do. And my favorite part of all of this is that it's not up to me as the GM. When a player rolls, they can decide what they want their advantages or triumphs to be. And me, I'm just here to make sure that the level of effect is appropriate for the result of your roll. So I get to decide what horrible things occur too when threats and despairs pop up, as well as whether or not your characters realize what's happening at the time. And lastly, I promise we're getting to the end of this. There are the Force dice. We're playing a game with Jedi, and when one of your characters attempts to use a Force power, you will roll a number of Force dice equal to your Force rating. These dice generate either light side points or dark side points, and the characters can then use those points to activate their Force powers. Sometimes, the dark side is the only choice your dice give you, especially if you're a new Jedi without a lot of training to draw from, and you get to decide if what you're attempting is worth the cost. So that's my mechanical dice spiel for this game. Now, as far as the setting and the game and the story goes, we're just here to tell a good story. And Star Wars has been the impetus of telling so many good stories and sagas throughout the years. And I am excited to dive into this with all of you.
It's a good spiel. That's a great spiel. Great spiel. I'm hyped.
Let's go.
All right.
So with that, Kim, do we have any more housekeeping we need to take care of?
I don't think so. I think we should just get into it.
All right, Kim, I think it's time to roll the crawl.
All right.
So we open up in the vastness of space. As the camera pans over, we see the large expanse of a giant city planet known as Coruscant stretched out before us. The camera pans ever so slightly to the left, across the hull of a ship, a Lethisk craft. It was going so well. A Lethith.
You got it, man.
I can't say that word. Lethisk. A Lethisk class freighter. With the words Dustbuster 9000, because that's the only name submitted to me, printed across the side.
Joking!
We slowly pan inside the ship. And the camera pulls up on a petite, red-headed woman, sitting in the pilot's seat with her hair pulled back in a ponytail, and the name Amanda Lee printed on the front of her jumpsuit. She looks out at the planet in front of her and pushes a button on the front console. She speaks into a little microphone. We're pulling up. We should be entering the planet's atmosphere in about 15 minutes. She leans back in her seat and looks over at a little green astromech droid sitting next to her. I know, never been to Coruscant, B3. I'm excited. The droid beeps in happy agreement with her. And we pan over slightly to two other people sitting in this cockpit. Just behind the pilot, in two captain's chairs, we see a young man, first of all. Will, what does this man look like?
So sitting there is a man probably around the age of about like maybe late teens, definitely, with 17 to 19, that sort of range. He's got kind of like a long, dashing, so to speak, streak of blonde hair and a look about him that has all the atmosphere and all the confidence of someone who's prepared to take their step into the world and take their place. Someone who's excited and ready and here for adventure. He's kind of sat there gazing out the window, very palpably with excitement about all the adventures that he's about to get up to. He was all wearing a little bit of armor, which is it's a little something that's in there.
And the pilot leans back in her seat, gently running the back of her neck against her chair. She turns around, says, either of you ever actually been to Coruscant before?
Grew up there my whole life.
And who do we see saying that, Kim?
You see a young woman older than Kanan, probably about 22 or 23. She's dressed very casually in essentially like the Star Wars equivalent of like a hoodie and jeans. And she is sitting on a chair in the cockpit with her knees up, and on her knees is a data pad, and she is using it as a sketchbook and is sort of doing a sketch of the planet of Coruscant as we're getting close to it. It's nice. If we weren't here for, work, I'd show you around, Amanda.
Well, personally, I'm going to take some time to do a little bit of exploring while we're here. I don't have another run scheduled for a few days, so...
We should not look at this as work. We should look at this as an opportunity to make a name for ourselves, achieve great deeds, do amazing things. I'm so excited, everyone.
I'm sure the great deeds will come. Amanda, if you let me and I start just typing out something else on my data pad and giving her addresses. If you want to go to this cantina and tell Joran that Laura sent you, he'll get you some good drink specials.
Joran, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. I'm
no problem.
so excited. I've been taking little backwater journeys to places like Dantooine, Telos. That's where I picked you guys up, so I guess you know that. But I've never been to a place this... Is industrial even the right word? It's just massive.
It's fun. Just stick on the higher levels. All right, don't go too low unless you've got some O2 or some backup.
Don't go too low, she says. And the camera sinks down into the floor of this ship. We start zooming through the ventilation shafts and into a large open space. Crates and durasteel alloys just lie scattered around this cargo hold that was clearly used to carry all sorts of things over the course of its lifespan. But now it stands mostly empty, except for a man sitting on a crate in a meditative stance. Percy, what does this man look like?
This man has a starkly thin yet athletic build and is covered in white robes, minimally askew across his body, are wrappings of those of a martial artist, and upon his darkened face is what looks as though a slash of a moon and three dots underneath it, and upon his head are gray tentacles tied back into a ponytail, and he hums almost with the ship itself as he's deeper and deeper in meditation.
And I don't think I've been asking each of you this so far, and I could kick myself, but what is this man's name?
This man's name is Utambu Hoto, and he is a new Jedi Knight.
So as this hum permeates the cargo hold, we find it ringing in the ears of another man, sitting off somewhere else. Rev, where do we find this other character?
We see Rendul up in the catwalk above this cargo space. He has some old actual books laid out, looking at old writings and floor plans of what he thinks could possibly be at this location they are headed to. He is wearing kind of gray and white tactical gear. He has tendrils that come back off of his head, and they almost move with that humming sound as if they're sensing something around him. And on his shoulder is a temple guard mask, but it is not white and gold. It's gray and pockmarked. Either it's been through a lot or has not yet been through its final ceremony. And at his side hangs a double-edged lightsaber.
Beautiful. So we're going to drop down to the bottom of the cargo hold once more, as Rendul continues his work up above, and Utambu is meditating. Tell me, Percy, what is Utambu focusing on? What centers him in his meditation?
Utambu is wholly dedicated to the light. He believes each path that is put before him is there for a reason. Right now, he knows the mission. He knows the reasons they are there. He is merely searching for the path which is best for them to take. He's looking for a person, a place, or a thing that would put them along that correct path.
As these contemplations and this searching echoes in your mind, your vision suddenly goes white. All around you, you hear the gentle hum of your own meditation, but not you making it. It just echoes around you, as if you have suddenly become lost in yourself and are surrounded by the noises and the words that you have been saying. This light surrounds you, and you find yourself just surrounded by whiteness. But as this happens, you start to hear a voice calling out to you. Hello? Hello? Where are you? Hello? Help me!
And Utambu tries to focus on where he is exactly hearing the voice. He reaches out further and further, and even calls out, "We are here at Coruscant. Where are you? We can help you. I promise."
I cannot see you, but I can feel you. Tell me, what is your name? Name. And the voice seems to echo against walls you do not even see are there.
You need not be afraid. My name is Utambu Hoto, a Jedi of the Light.
And the word Jedi starts ricocheting all around you. Jedi, 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 Jedi. And the voice centers in around you once again. A Jedi! And all of a sudden, it feels as though it's not being called across a distance, but just in front of your face. You hear the words, "The Jedi are all supposed to be dead."
Where there is the light, there will always be the Jedi.
Perhaps. And your vision clears once again, and you feel as though you're falling for a brief second, and you catch yourself on the cargo crate. You're still in the same meditative position you were before. But this sense of unease has just fallen over your shoulders.
I believe, knowing that Rendul is the closest one here, as well as, besides myself, the most experienced person here, he would immediately go and seek his counsel on the matter. And so, making his way up to the catwalk, Randuin, my friend, I have a matter in which I wish to speak to you about.
What's disturbing you?
I reached out. I heard a voice calling out, scared. I revealed to them that I was a Jedi, and they told me all of the Jedi should be dead. I do not know who this person is. And do you possibly think it is tied to why they sent us here?
Very well could be. Old sites of power. They draw many things. That's why they're worth finding, protecting. It could be a good omen.
The Force has guided us here. And I am glad you are here with me, my friend. You are still poring over the maps and such. Have you found anything of significance there? What will the temple possibly give us?
It's all conflicting information. It could be just some small libraries. Problem is, I can't even figure out where to begin. The city is so sprawling. Hopefully Laura will have a sense of where we can start.
Yes. I apologize for disturbing you. I will
No,
make
no.
the others aware as well.
I suppose we're getting close. Actually, it would probably do me good to clear my mind and put these things behind. What we had there is not nearly as important as what we will find there. And I'll start to pack these things up and put them in a rucksack.
All right. So the two of you start packing up and heading off through the corridors towards the cockpit. We're going to pan up to the cockpit once more as Amanda turns to Kanan and Laura once more. So, where are we headed? What, do you have a specific landing pad in mind? I know you said something about a temple at some point. Do you know where we're going?
That's a phenomenal question. Do we have an address as to where approximately on this enormous planet we were geared towards looking?
So yes, actually. The Jedi Temple is actually a well-known structure. It is near the Senate building, close to the heart of Coruscant's government district.
Mm-hmm.
You would have a pretty good sense of knowing exactly where it is. And you never know, there might be a landing platform there. So it's up to you if you want to head there or if you have another place in mind in this sprawling city planet that you want to go.
No, I think we can just head right to the temple. It should be on level like 5,120, something like that. It's near the Senate building.
Okay. And she turns around and starts punching in coordinates. And as she does so, Renduel and I knew I was going to do that. Renduel and Utambu enter the cockpit.
I think as they're entering, in response to the previous conversation, Kane kind of like stands up and says, "Whichever way we are going, we are headed on the path of destiny."
And the droid beeps. And Amanda just says, "Yeah, I know B3. Me too."
Kane's just there like posing for like another couple of seconds after saying that.
I was going to say if
I've started drawing him on my data pad. It's very well done.
I believe as Utambu and Renduel make their way into, Utambu will kind of peek at the sketchbook. Ah, I do not believe you are getting the glow off of his face, though, Miss Laura.
That's a very good note, Utambu, and I'll start adding a little bit more
better.
highlight. Yeah. If you could face a little bit more towards Amanda, you can get some of the light off of her instruments right there. Yeah, that's perfect.
Right here?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Kanan, so full of life, as much as ever.
IB, we're on the greatest adventure of our lives. This is amazing. We are here to explore, to find, to achieve our great destinies.
You're right, and the Force will guide us there. Please do not excite yourself out of your robes and your armor and such, please.
Force, we are following the path of force and destiny. I'm sorry.
Roll credits.
Dun, dun.
Oh no, he said it.
But
Everybody drink.
Yeah, everybody drink. Water, not cheers. There you go.
Nailed it.
All right.
And so that feels like a... Go ahead.
But Utambu, you look a little troubled. Is everything all right?
I reached out and was enveloped in light. A voice spoke to me. I made it aware that I was a Jedi and that I would do everything I could to help them. And they told me all the Jedi are supposed to be dead, and I do not know whether this is an omen of misfortune or of fate. But through the Force, I believe this connection should be of the utmost priority alongside our mission.
Are you saying that in the midst of your meditation, someone in distress somewhere called out amongst space to reach you, to ask for help? This is the exact thing that stories are made of. Yes, 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 absolutely.
I once again appreciate your enthusiasm, Kanan, but we must go about this level-headed. Those that believe the death of the Jedi very rarely are on the Jedi's side. I do not mean to bring down your luster. Please, have it. We need it. But always know, there are two sides.
Very well, of course. Yes, that makes sense, of course. No, absolutely.
A little button starts flashing on the console, and Amanda reaches over and pushes it.
Amanda,
Little
is everything okay?
As she does so, a little hologram of a man pops up on the console. You see a man in a smart uniform, very well put together, looking out at the four of you, and a voice crackles through. "Welcome to Coruscant. Please enter lane 3 as you approach the planet. Please state your business and your reason for coming to Coruscant today. Amanda looks over at the four of you and says, transport, sir. Is transporting what? Transporting who? And she looks questioningly at the four of you. Please state your name and your intentions.
Utambu, if he would probably just step up, not fully grasping exactly how bigger planets and such work, and he would just step forward and gesture for Amanda to open the comm links. You are in the presence of 4 Jedi. You're on a mission to help you upon Coruscant. Please,
Jedi.
let us pass. Yeah. He like presses the button again and says, son, yes, Jedi.
Jedi.
Is there another type of Jedi?
Can I have your name?
Of course, Utambu Oto.
And your reason for visiting Coruscant? I assume you're not here to cause trouble.
The Force has guided us here on a mission of the
I'm going to
utmost
need more than that.
He kind of like looks back at everybody. What is more important than the Force?
We're here on a great adventure!
Oh no.
And I think having been with Utamu for a while, I step forward. You should have received an order a few days ago about our landing. We're coming to look through some old excavation sites. Just looking for artifacts, things of the like.
I did not have anything. And this is a good time to roll our first check.
Ooh.
So, Rev,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you give me an average negotiation check?
Okay.
And when I say average, I realize you have no idea what that means.
You're
So
not
let's
wrong.
go into a little bit of the rules. So one other little way the dice work in this game is that there's a difficulty assigned to every roll, and that tells you how many purple dice you need to roll. So an easy check is 1 purple die. An average check is 2. Hard is 3. Daunting is 4. And formidable is 5. An average check is how you're going to be rolling most of your starting checks in this game. And I apologize because there's no reason whatsoever that this should be negotiation or negotiation. You're not bartering for goods. This is a charm check. And
Okay.
I am losing my mind.
All right. So 2 of the green die, I got 2 successes.
All right. Well,
I
with 2
assume I
successes.
rolled the correct dice.
Did you roll 2 green dice and 2 purple dice?
No. Only 2 green dice.
That would be a problem because if you don't roll the difficulty dice, your check will always succeed. And I realize that might not be a problem for you, but it's a problem for me.
Fair. Okay. In that case, 1 success.
1 success. Okay. So he looks up and says, you know what, I don't have anything here about that, but Jedi. That name used to mean something a long time ago. I remember when that name meant something. Proceed to lane 3. Have a pleasant stay here on Coruscant. And
Thank you.
The hologram switches off.
After the bit where was that Rendell was like saying like we're here on the artifacts and stuff, Kane would have turned to Laura and said, "That's basically what I said."
Exactly. It was just it was you had the right idea. He was just refining what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And we'll pull out for a moment just to get a view of this ship. As you start to pull in closer to the planet, one thing to note about Coruscant is the sheer volume of ships that are circling this planet, getting in, coming out, and it looks almost like a superhighway, or more like 20 superhighways of cars, where they're all interweaving together but staying in orderly lines and fashions as they proceed in. And your ship falls into line in one of those little highways heading down towards the planet. Now, as that happens, the ship gets closer and closer, and it's a little bit of a slow descent as it heads into the planet's orbit. But we start to see buildings rising all around us as you see the sheer mass of industrial power that Coruscant wields. You see masses of housing buildings that are just steeped high and then descending down into ravines almost in between the buildings. Now, as your ship starts to weave its way through all of this, Amanda turns back to you once again and says, "So, what's our actual destination here? I can apply for a landing pad in uh, in whatever sector you want to go to, or I found some old coordinates for the temple. We could just head there."
I think I turn and look at Laura.
Heading towards the temple would probably be the most expedient, right? If we're here to look at the temple. Surely between the four of us, if we run into any bureaucratic issues, we could negotiate our way out of that. No one's going to get mad at us over a parking spot.
All right, well, I can drop you off at the temple then. And she settles back in her seat after punching some coordinates into the navicomputer. The ship continues along across these buildings, heading over the vast. Words are hard. Heading over the vast sea of mechanical wilderness, almost. Coruscant is unique in that you don't really see vegetation except some little outcroppings on the top of buildings. It is just a sea, building after building after building. And as we proceed across this, I wanted to say country and continent, planet. As we proceed across this planet, we see a tall structure rising up in front of the ship. It looks almost like a ziggurat at the base, as four columns rise up in each of the corners, and a large central column rises up in the center. It comes into your view, and all of you feel this wave of something wash over you. This is probably something that you have felt maybe only a few times in your life. The sheer amount of the force that you feel right now washing over you. Utambu, I think for you, this is probably a very big deal. This feels right. How do you react in the moment?
I guess like even like as it's coming into view, maybe without even moving on purpose, he moves closer and closer just to the window until his hand is on the glass and almost like a wanting like a pond seeing the ocean for the first time, realizing that it is a bigger part of everything that he wants to be a part of. And he almost seems to be in a trance, just reaching out and staring down at it.
You hear a little from the droid as it looks out as well. And Amanda turns to the four of you. Wow. I've never seen anything quite like that before.
Yeah. Me neither.
But you said you lived here.
Yeah, on the lower levels of Coruscant. Leaving here to go to Telos was the first time I'd ever even seen the sky on this planet.
Wow. And she stands up in her seat as the temple comes further and further into view, and the majesty of it just washes over you. You start to notice a couple of things, though. There appear to be, it almost looks like ants moving around far below you. And you realize all at the same time that those must be people moving around on the base of the temple. And there appears to be lots of them moving back and forth, and you start to see little pricks of light just bouncing back and forth, little pricks of red and blue light. And it hits you all at the same time that this is a firefight happening at the base of the temple.
Everyone ready up. There's a fight.
You see this? This is it. You felt it. The wave. And the fight here as well? Yes. Our destiny awaits, everyone.
And at that moment, an explosion rocks your ship as a massive blaster bolt shoots up from the temple itself, somewhere that you could not even identify, and blasts into the side of your hull. Amanda leaps into action and grabs the controls and says, "Please, I'm trying to steady it," but the ship immediately starts going into a tailspin. Will, how does Kanan react?
Kanan, so in the interior of the ship, I believe it's going to be, how close would the actual, I guess, exit to the ship be? Like, if we were to just, like, deploy out of the ship and run straight into battle, where's the nearest exit to us?
So you are, I would say, about 20 stories up right now.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I mean, not jumping out, I'm just...
Okay, awesome. So you would have to run to the back of the ship to get to the escape pods. It would probably be about 20 meters you'd have to run in total.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm suddenly using the metric system. Continue.
Kanan is probably like in the state of like waiting for like once we land, I'm out the door. So if it's like an escape pod or just like a deployment area, like is there like just a hatch that will open up at some point if we land?
So yes, you would head to the back of the ship to do that. But I should mention, the ship is in a tailspin right now. It is very difficult for you to move around, and the atmosphere around you goes from tranquil to frantic in a second's notice.
I think the first thing he'd look to do then is looking out amongst everyone. Is anyone like stood in somewhere like kind of precarious, or is anyone because those two just walked in, whereas we were kind of sat in places. Like, are they stable? You know what I mean?
So I would say neither of them, since they don't have seats, neither of them probably looks stable at this juncture.
I think what Kanan will do then is immediately give up his seat. Say to Utumbo, "Hey, you got this. I'm strong. I can hold on to just fine by myself." And we'll walk over to like a wall somewhere, like find like a pipe on the wall, and just like arms around it, and just hold on tight because Utumbo needs to sit down.
Like a subway.
Yeah, like a subway. Because as he like jumps up, you can see that like this kid, he's pretty young, but he's kind of jacked underneath like the armor and the padding and stuff. As he's
just like you,
pretty physically. Thank you. He's pretty physically strong, so he'll like grab onto the pipes and then gesture for Utumbo to take a seat.
Okay, so
with the seatbelt and stuff.
your leaping up and grabbing onto the pipes is a lot more difficult than you think it's going to be. What you've just described, that's what Kanan pictures in his head as
Yep.
he makes this plan to jump up and do this. But to jump up and get Utambu into the seat and grab onto something yourself is going to be difficult. So I'm going to need you to give me a hard athletics check. So that is 3 purple dice, and then on your sheet what it says under athletics. And I believe your character has something special as regards
Yeah.
athletics, doesn't he?
I have 2 green dice, I have 2 yellow dice, and I would like to use force power enhance to enhance my athletics check with a white die.
Beautiful. So what that means, for those watching the stream, is that Kanan is reaching out with the force as he does this, and using the force around him to steady himself and perform this athletics check. So why don't you go ahead and roll that, and we'll see if you succeed.
Okay. So yep. And it was 3 failures, right?
3 purples, yeah.
Okay. The end result is 3 successes. 5 okay, so the end result is 1 success, 3 advantages, 2 dark side.
Oh, no.
So you succeed at this roll, and you don't really need to spend force points to do it. If you want, you can spend those dark side points for additional good things to happen, but you also have 3 advantages there that you can spend to get Utambu into the seat and tell me what other good things you want to come out of this.
Sure. Do I need to spend those dark side points? Because those
You
sound kind of
don't.
like that sounds kind of extreme, like right off the bat. Yeah. So with my 3 advances, I'm gonna have myself. I'm locked in there. Like I'm strong. I'm tough. I am locked in. With my other advance, I'm just gonna grab Utambu and just throw him into that seat. And with the other advance, can I just also while I'm at it, just clip his seat in his buckle in so he doesn't have to do that himself? 'Cause
I love it.
I'm good.
Buckle his seatbelt.
God, Utambu, things are about to get bumpy.
And you leap up and just do this with an almost ferocity as you just kick into action. This is what Kanan does, and you get it done. Now, Laura, what are you up to as this chaos suddenly erupts around you?
Now, I've been hanging out with Amanda in the cockpit for pretty much this entire trip. And so when things start going haywire, I get out of my seat and join her at the controls, not really necessarily knowing what I'm doing, but I'm a quick study, and she's shown me some stuff, and I haven't necessarily been around this ship before, but I've I'm very quick on my feet, so I'm not trying to necessarily save this ship. I think it might be too far gone for that. More so trying to find a safe way to crash this, I guess. Trying to make this a little less dire than it otherwise could.
Fantastic. So go ahead, and as you leap into the secondary, the co-pilot's chair here, I'm going to need you to give me a hard piloting planetary check.
Cool.
So that'll be 3 purple, and then whatever you have for that skill.
Fantastic.
Do you got anything for that skill?
I do, actually. So I have 1 success, but 2 threats.
Beautiful. Okay, so you leap in and start jumping in and trying to assist Amanda in all of this. And you have you are a quick study. You have no problems jumping in and grabbing the stabilizers, and you pull the ship out of the tailspin that it's in just a little bit, so it's not quite as chaotic for everyone else going around. And you find the ship starting to steady itself just a little bit more. But as that happens, some things occur because of your threats.
Mm-hmm.
Some things that I am going to keep under the lid for just a moment, because I know when they're going to happen.
Fantastic.
Utambu, you have been thrown into this seat. You have been clipped in. So you are steady at this point. What is and you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. If you're feeling like you're in that safe little baby Bjorn, you can just chill there. But I'm gonna toss it to you. What does Utambu do?
This is why I prefer to stay on the ground. And just be Tailspun.
Awesome. And Renduel, you, however, have not been tossed into a seat by Kanan. You are holding, a rucksack of maps and things as you enter into this cockpit. What is Renduel's reaction as this chaos erupts?
I think it is trying to brace myself wherever I am and protect the books.
Okay.
We can't lose these. They can't get sucked out or anything. So it's, if I'm thinking of being on like an airplane tram and like you get kind of in the corner, so you just plant your feet and push your back against the wall.
Mm-hmm. So, give me, since you named kind of two things there,
Yeah.
give me your primary concern that is going to be what the success means from your role. Is it protecting yourself or protecting the books?
The books.
Okay, awesome. So go ahead and give me a hard athletics check as well.
Okay. I also have the ability to enhance my athletics with the Force, so I think I'm going to do that.
All right.
Okay, so that's 3 purple.
I didn't have to say it. I'm so proud of you guys.
Look at us.
Okay, 1 advantage and 2 dark side.
So that
That's
means
it.
your roll does not succeed. You are not successful in protecting the books unless, with your enhanced power, you can reach out with the Force and tap into the dark side energy that is swirling around you right now and translate that. You can spend those dark side points 1-to-1 to get a success or an advantage on your roll.
Boy, it's early, but you know what? I have one job on this ship. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna use one.
Okay.
Good.
So, as this happens, okay, your character, Renduel, has some drawbacks to him. And one of those is his obsession. So, you go and brace yourself against the wall and clutch these books tightly to your chest. And as you go to do so, your back hits something against the wall, something that was jutting out that you didn't see, and it hits you in just the right pressure point, and these books go flying out of your hands, and the thought crosses through your mind: I must have these books. We will die without these books. And you see the rucksack just spinning through the air, and you reach out with your hands, and they freeze and just shoot back into your chest, and you look up with satisfaction in your eyes for just a moment as you are braced against this wall now. The books are safe. And you have one advantage. What do you want to spend that on? What's something else good you want to come out of this? And since you being safe was not your primary goal, that can be something you spend your advantage on.
Yeah, I think now that I have the books, it has given me the clarity of mind to also protect myself in this moment. So it's, I imagine getting into that corner and realizing that there's all this space above and kind of snaking my arm around whatever it was that got me in the back a moment ago.
Okay. So you get your arm around that. Yeah, you use that advantage to spin this thing that was an impediment to you into a advantage for you, for lack of a better word. I know there are synonyms, and I will come up with them over the course of the next 2 hours. But you turn this frown upside down is not the right word, but you turn this frown upside down as your arm snakes around and you grasp onto this thing. And we cut back to the front of the cockpit as Amanda looks up, and we just focus in on her eyes as a look of sheer panic crosses into them. We move over for just a second to Laura's eyes as you're frantically adjusting the stabilizers, and you look up too, and you see a building 20 meters away, 15 meters away, 10 meters away, and you hear Amanda say, I can't avoid, we're going to blackout. Light slowly starts wash over your face, Laura. You stretch for a second. You feel a pain in your leg. You feel a stiffness in your upper arm. You blink once, twice, and you look around you. Where it was nighttime as you approached, the sun is now high in the sky. You look around for a minute and you feel a little singe from a burn that hit the front of your hand. And all around you is the destroyed hull of the ship that you flew in on. What do you do?
Do I see any of my party around me?
You do. Off just a few yards away, you see Rendul's arm sticking out of a little pile of rubble and a rucksack tucked underneath it.
Oh no! And I want to start moving as quickly as I can with a bad leg over to Rendul and try to dig him out of this wreckage.
And he stirs as you pull this wreckage off of him. He doesn't appear to be badly hurt, and he appears to be coming to.
What's that old saying? Any landing you can walk away from.
Something like that. Are you okay? Can you walk?
I think so. Where's everyone else at?
Working on that. And I want to look around for anyone else.
You turn and you look into the cockpit of the ship. You were clearly thrown through the view screen at the front of it. But as you look into the cockpit, you see, strapped in his seat and buckled in, Utambu Hoto. His head just off to the side. Not his head in one place and his body in another. His head just...
You see Utambu, and he's just like,
Hey,
That's
guys.
what you get when you're a guest on the show.
I can't believe Utambu's dead. It came for 5 minutes. Wham! Straight out.
You see his head resting off to the
Just
side.
meters away.
And he actually appears to be asleep. As you make your way over to him, you see that whatever, his seatbelt, for lack of a better word, is fastened, and something happened when the crash occurred, where it just fused shut the lock that was holding him in.
I want to just go over and kind of gently shake him a little bit. Utambu? Are you all right? Sorry to wake you.
What is that old saying? Randu would know. And he's gonna try to like unfasten himself. And you said it's go ahead.
The lock is fused shut on your safety harness of your Bjorn. In such a way that you can barely even move your arms in your seat.
Go ahead and take a step back, Laura. I have this.
Okay.
And if he can, you typically in the right side of his vest is his lightsaber, and he is going to attempt to ignite it outwards and hit the lock, opening it.
Okay. Awesome. There is no luck mechanic in this game or anything like that. I'm going to say just go ahead and give me a lightsaber check to do so. It's not a very difficult thing to do. So I'm going to call this an average check because your arms are somewhat restrained to try and get them into a position where you hit the lock.
Okay, so
And if you fail, the lightsaber is facing towards you.
thick. That sounds awesome.
Is this something that I could try to assist with?
Absolutely. But he told you to stand back,
He
so
did.
it's up to you if you want to assist or not.
That's my assistance. Hey, if one of us is going to eat the lightsaber, please let it be me, because it is my lightsaber, Laura.
You know what? That's fair. Utambu is the leader of this group, and my senior. So I think I would do what he said. I would stand back. I wouldn't help.
I got a yellow one and 2 green ones, and you said 2 difficulties?
Yes, 2 purple.
Okey-dokey.
And while you roll that, just since it was brought up, you can assist anybody in this game by just telling me how you assist them. And then you give them a blue die, a boost to their next check. You just have to justify it to me.
Well,
Now, Percy. Percy.
That's 2 advantages and 1 failure.
Oh
you know.
So Utambu just kills himself immediately out of the gate.
Oh no, who could have foreseen this?
Great start. Guys, we're on this. Crack Jedi, like,
Okay.
spec
Turns
ops
out the
team,
voice
we're
he
in it.
heard was his next character.
So, Percy,
Oh, no.
your roll does not succeed. You do not cut yourself free. You do successfully ignite your lightsaber. And no, you don't stab yourself in the thigh or anything, because that would be really, 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 really bad. But you do have 2 advantages, so what 2 good things come out of this other than what you were trying to do?
I think maybe in the way that I have wedged my lightsaber in is I reached for it and now it is in one of the locking mechanisms, but almost in a sense of like pushing my fingers in. Now I could slide myself out. I've kind of like like a crowbar. I've crowbarred myself now with the hilt to get my right arm free. So now potentially I can get myself out with my own physicality as my lightsaber clatters to the ground. Sorry.
I like that. Sounds good. So, in that case, give me, since you do not have a lightsaber now, which would have made this easy, you are just using the physical, brawny strength of Utambu. I'm going to call this one a hard check to just burst out of the harness. So give me a hard athletics check.
Oh, baby, it's gonna be hard already with all that athletic I don't have. So,
Can't
anywho.
wait for us being unable to get out of a seatbelt.
I'm going to assist him in this. I think that I hear, like, as I'm getting up, I hear him saying, like, "Oh, hey, stand clear."
And was that was one of my advantages, correct? Because I said I had 2 advantages and 1 failure, so I don't know
Yeah,
how
so
it's.
you can use your other advantage for something else good. Oh, well, you can use it to give yourself a boost to your next check if you want.
I would love to do that. I want to get out of this goddamn seatbelt.
You didn't know this going into it, but that is the big bad of session 1.
The seatbelt.
Chairs, always chairs.
Just zoom in, and the yellow eyes are on the chair. Good.
Chairs, doors, windscreens, all currently the highest damaging things our party has faced. Am I like around, by the way? Or am I just dead? Like, I haven't asked where I am.
This is not your character arc. Thank you very much.
We'll get to your graveside in a minute.
Cool, cool. No, that's good. I'm all right.
One personal struggle at a time. The seatbelt.
Okay, am I being assisted by Laura and Rendul, or what's going on with this?
I think only one of us can assist you.
Okay.
Yes.
And so with that, my advantage and there's 2 boosts.
Yes. So,
Sick.
real quick, Rev, how does
Yes.
Rendul assist? I mean,
Yes.
it's pretty straightforward, but paint me a picture.
Yeah, hearing, I'm dusting myself off, and I hear him say to Laura, like, "Oh, no, step back." And again, we've known each other long enough that when I hear these specific sounds of struggle, I just go by, and with his one free hand, like I give him the, a hand to grab onto to brace as he starts to pull himself. We're
I am
doing, like,
glad you are not dead.
You as well.
See if
If we can get you out of here, then
Haha,
we'll be that much
success.
closer.
You got success and 2 advantages.
Yes.
Right.
There you go.
So this seatbelt just snaps as you burst out of it, and Utambu looks amazing doing it. That's not me spending your advantages for you, but there's very few things you could really spend an advantage on in this situation, unless you have ideas. So
It's like my hand is the helicopter thing, and he's Captain America, and he's just pulling himself out.
Yeah.
as that happens,
I was going to say the advantage is that the seatbelt piece goes flying and hits Kanan in the head. So now we know he's alive because he says, ow.
as all of this
Oh,
happens,
damn it.
Kanan,
Yep.
we're going to move over to your unconscious body.
Oh, great.
Oh,
And as this is all happening off in the far distance to you, what is going on inside your mind? What does your brain process in all of this?
How much of the surroundings am I aware of, or am I just out?
This is you out. I just want to ask, what's been going through your brain? What does Kanan dream about?
Kanan is kind of taken for a moment, just a bit I think Kanan is confused because this isn't what happens at the start of adventures. You don't immediately get knocked out, and you don't immediately have things go so badly wrong. So he's kind of just like, wait, wasn't I? I definitely got the bit where I saved my friend done. Kind of having a bit of a trouble with step 2, and I'm not sure why.
And you hear something in the distance, a struggling. You hear a lightsaber ignite. You hear something clatter to the floor, and you hear something burst. And your eyes hazily open, and you see your 3 Jedi companions standing before you. You have braced yourself successfully against the wall, so you are still clutching onto that position where you were. What do you do?
I heard the ignition of a lightsaber. Do I see any active lightsabers?
Not at the moment.
Kanan goes, they're here. I heard their lightsabers, and he immediately like pulls out his own, which as Kanan pulls out his lightsaber, his hilt is way longer than the ones you would normally expect, and as he thumbs the ignition, like a cross guy kind of like flicks out and as he goes like full two-handed great lightsaber comes out and he's got it in both hands. He goes, "Where are they? Where are the Sith? I'll get them!"
Stay your hand.
What? And he kind of like just leans against the wall for a bit of support,
right?
and his lightsaber goes down. Yeah, the fight. I heard a lightsaber and slicing sounds and something burst and there's a fight, right? We should off to the fight. Where's Amanda?
Yes, there was a fight. I think that like mid statement trails off, and I turn to look. Where is Amanda?
You all look around as the word Amanda just echoes through the air. And you look to where the pilot's seat was, and the pilot's seat is gone. And your eyes all trail up at the same time and see off in the distance, outside of the ship, clearly thrown through the view screen, is Amanda's seat. And you can just barely make out her leg sticking out from the bottom of it.
Hands off. Straight away. Lightsaber two-handed, preparing, ready for danger, but he's going to body friend down, straight to it, ready to defend, ready to see what's going on.
And in one of the few times that Kanan and Utambu are on the same page, Utambu is a split second behind him.
And I think I am actually going the opposite direction. Now that we're all accounted for, kind of, I'm looking to see where that blaster fire was coming from, the people that we saw skirmishing.
I'm heading with Utambu and Kanan. How is my leg? Can I run on it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it hurts, but it's not impacting your ability to move.
Fantastic. All right. Then I'd be heading towards Amanda.
All right. Well, we'll follow the three of you as you run towards this chair that is lying on its side off in the distance. You close in after about 30 meters. And you see Amanda there, still strapped in the pilot's seat. Clearly, it rolled several times getting to this spot, and her limp body is just there, strapped to the seat. None of you are doctors or anything like that, but it becomes very clear very quickly that Amanda is dead.
I assume this is going to be like the first dead body that a lot of us have ever seen.
It's very possible, yeah. I would think so, especially for Kanan.
Yeah, there's kind of like a disconnect going on in his mind at the moment. He goes, okay. It's all right. We'll beat the bad guys. We'll beat the bad guys. We're the heroes. They killed our friend. We have to avenge her. And then Kanan will pick a direction to go avenging.
I don't know if you have anything to say to him or stop him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how effective it's going to be, but I definitely just want to hook my hand around his arm and pull him back.
Yeah, I mean, he won't try and muscle out of your grips or anything.
Yeah.
So if you like make moves to stop him, he'll like kind of like halter and he goes, but she what? He kind of just looks at Utambu and just looks at him and kind of like waits for an instruction.
Um, this is not the first time Utambu has seen a dead body. Barely in like the top 10 that he's seen, but he seems to almost glide over to Amanda's body, and he kneels down and just puts a hand to her shoulder. You are with the Force now, my friend. Go with the light. And he will stand and turn to face Laura and Kanan. And there is sorrow in his face. And he is very rarely expressive, but there is genuine sorrow, but resignation. Kanan, vengeance is not the way. But we will do something about this. Come. We must find Rendur. And we must find those fighting in front of the temple. And he will walk off in the same direction that he saw Rendur.
And as that happens, we're going to cross over to Renduel, who went off in the opposite direction. And I should probably point out to you guys where you are right now. So, Renduel, as you start making your way around this area, it's been craziness thus far. You didn't really take time to take in your surroundings as you were first looking around to make sure everyone was alive, everyone was safe. But now, as you look around, you are in what looks like some kind of a warehouse type area. A big empty space all around you. And as you look up to where your ship crashed in, there is a massive hole that seems to go at least 7 stories up that is just open to the sky, out of which you can see the sun pouring down. And you can see, as you head behind the ship, the impact point, probably 200 meters off to the behind the ship. Your ship clearly crashed through the side of this building and just skidded across, crashing through pillar after pillar in this warehouse.
I want to scan around on the floor that we are on and see if I notice anything that's not us, any people other than us here.
So I'm not even going to have you roll for this. As you look around, there's no one in this building. It is completely desolate.
I think I turn and walk back towards the ship, and kind of as an afterthought of walking back towards the ship, I stop and look inside again, looking for any indication of green scrap.
You don't see any.
B3. I'm going to
You
close
hear a
my
beeping.
eyes and call again. And like the tentacles start to move and kind of drift in the direction of the point as I'm trying to figure out where the sound is coming from.
And you see at that point, coming out from the darkness within the ship, B3 NY, almost unscathed, just rolling towards you.
Are you all right?
And because it would be a bad production for me to just beep and whistle at you guys, I will just go ahead and speak for the droid,
Yeah,
even
fair.
though he is an astromech. And if you're watching at home, imagine beeps and whistles.
Oh, time out. Can we cycle back?
We'll put those
He-
in post.
He
We
he
will
is
not.
B3NY.
B3NY.
He's Benny. Lil
Oh,
Benny.
Little
Benny.
Benny.
I love it.
And
Benny is
in
the
his
best of us.
in his beeps and whistles, this little astromech droid says to you, unscathed. Unscathed.
All right, well, stick by me. We're gonna get out of here soon.
He extends his little middle leg and starts heading off towards you. I'll follow you.
And then I'll turn back where the other three headed off to.
And at this point, I know at least Kanan was headed back towards you, and maybe Utambu as well, but I don't know about Laura.
Yeah, I've just been walking with Kanan, and I am looking at him, and I come from a big family, and I'm seeing him in distress, and every single big sister motive, like all of my alarm bells are going off right now. So I have an arm around him, and I'm just sort of like lightly rubbing his back as we're walking back to meet up with the group. Not saying
Sorry,
anything, just kind of being there.
I should probably have clarified. Kanan would have been like doing a leisurely jog,
Yeah.
at least.
All right. Then once we get there.
All right, then the four of you, I should now say the five of you, come back together at that point. What do you all want to do?
Where's the fight? Where's the battle? The shots. Who did this? We gotta. He starts trailing off into just babble about helping or doing something or fighting something.
Yeah, we'll help, but first we gotta figure out where we are.
Yes, we've got to go slow. We've got to focus. Whatever is out there, whoever did this, it wasn't accidental. There are 1,000 ships up there in that moment. I think this might be a good opportunity for us to get a little closer to the temple. Laura, I know you used to run around down here on these lower levels.
Uh-huh.
You think you could scout us to the temple from here? We seem to be inside of some enormous warehouse. It's
Well, if we can
seems
get out of this warehouse, I mean, the temple's one of the highest spots on the planet. If we're close to it, we should be able to see it. Looking around this big warehouse, do I see an exit?
You do. You see, as you look over to the south, kind of opposite of where your entry point was, there is a turbo lift.
Yeah, head there.
Okay. So the four of you, the five of you, make your way over, and I think you're probably even surprised to see that it is in working order, given the desolate nature of the rest of this building. But the turbo lift gives you two options, up and down.
Up.
All right. And
For
you
clarity's sake,
shoot.
at this point, Kanan will have deactivated his great lightsaber, which is like 5.5 feet long, because that's going to get in the way of things. So.
Although I like the idea of him just walking around with it like a broadsword the whole time.
Oh, absolutely. But we're in a lift, and there's like 4 people in here and a droid. Like I don't know, man. It's close quarters.
and I do think that like as we're starting to head towards the lift, I imagine Amanda's her kind of deck where everything was at, and grabbing like a photo or something off of it to put inside of the shrine later.
Okay. You don't find any photos per se, but you find little little figurines of Hissus, which is a large lizard-like creature found on the planet of Korriban. You find a number of those little figurines. that were on her console.
Yeah, I'll take one of those and pocket it.
All right. And the turbo lift shoots up to the top of this building. And it opens up onto a massive roof. You start looking around you, and the daylight just hits you as you step out. You have to blink for a second. Even though it was brightly lit down where you were, the actual light of the sun is almost overwhelming as you look out across Coruscant, and you see probably 2 miles in the distance the Jedi Temple standing up before you.
Uh, all right. I want to start pulling out my data pad as well as my urban compass just to try to get a better idea of like where exactly on the planet we are and the best way to get to that temple, other than just walking generally in that direction.
So, why don't you go ahead and you can either give me a streetwise, or I'm sorry, not streetways, a survival or a knowledge core worlds check.
Um,
Either one will be easy.
all right, let's do survival. And my urban compass removes. Is that it's
So
what does that do?
what that would do, an urban compass in this game gives you, it will remove setback dice.
Gotcha.
So if there are up to 2 setbacks applied to you, for instance, if there's a heavy fog that's obstructing your vision, sandstorm, something like that, or something interfering with your signal, you can remove 2 of those with your urban compass. It also gives you a boost die, I believe.
Yes, it does.
So
All
in
right.
this case, you would just get that boost to your check.
All right. And what kind of check is this? This is an easy.
This is an easy check, so 1 purple die.
Fantastic. 2 successes and 1 advantage.
All right. So you start pulling this up on your data pad and plugging things into your compass, and you see that there is um, an easy path that you could walk along to get to the Jedi Temple. There are a series of ramps and there are a series of bridges crossing in between the different ravines and buildings. And you also know, looking down, that there are many levels beneath you right now, and you could easily go down as well. In this general area, you are in the not business, the government district of this planet. So you also can see, if you look off in the other direction, the Republic Senate building towering off in the distance, in the a little bit of the far distance, but you can see it from where you are. And you know that this is a place where you can find just about anything you want to in terms of cantinas, in terms of businesses and things like that. And uh, you can, yeah, basically find whatever you want. But there are also methods of transportation to get where you want to go. You could find a lift pretty easily to get there and things like that. So, in all of that, you have 2 advantages. I know I just threw a bunch of words at you,
Mm-hmm.
but you can use those advantages to say that there are things that are going to be beneficial to you in this area or along your route and things like that. How would you want to spend your advantages?
Oh man. Do I have to use them now, or can I use them as they come up as we're heading towards this temple?
You can have a hold too if you want.
I would love a hold too.
Okay. But the salient point in all of this is that you can see there is a very clear path outlined if you wanted to head to the temple. However, I should also note that as you look around, it's hitting all of you again. You were out for a long time. It was evening when you were coming into the temple, and now it is at least midday of the following day. You don't know who was there at the time, who might have shot at you, and if they're even still there, or what might be happening right now. So I'll kick it right back over to you, Kim. What do you want to do?
Well, temple's right over there, and here, and I want to start sketching out a path on my data pad of the route that we could take. This is an easy way to get there, if that's where we want to go.
Why would we go anywhere else? That's where everything happened. That's where the fight was. That's where the And it's like freezing a little bit.
I think I turn to Umtambu, and may not be the worst idea for us to grab some other garb. Whoever shot us down, it might be best if they think we're dead.
You're right. As you said before, there was no way that it was accidental. Plus, we may need to gather a little bit more information. Time-wise, we're out for a while. It would be best to collect information, see, even if they are still there. We do not want to be chasing ghosts. He's gonna turn over to Laura again. I apologize for putting this all onto you, Jedi Knight, Laura. But we need your expertise once again. Where would be the best place for us around here to get some information? And some clothes.
Oh no, I have to generate names of things.
Gonna say
Yes.
you have advantages, so you tell me.
I do. Not
So
me.
I chose the dumb guy. I
No.
just get to put everything on the smart people.
Star Wars random place name generator.
Yeah,
.org.
goodness. Star Wars name
Love
generator.
this game.
You got a whole list of names in chat.
Oh,
yeah.
it's true, I do.
Let's head to the hypnotic sheep. They sell awesome clothes.
Oh, actually. All right. So, you asked for two things. First one, where to get information. Cantina's the best place. Hypnotic sheep is around here, and we'll probably be able to chat up the locals there. Clothes. I think Jan Kalea still has a shop around here. I didn't want to say anything, but the three of you really do kind of scream Jedi with what you're wearing. So maybe you should don't get me wrong, you all look fantastic, but maybe being a little more inconspicuous would be best here.
Kind of like an immediate disconnect. Like Kanan just kind of like looks to the side, like he's confused by that statement, but doesn't say anything.
Kenan, take it as a compliment. You look exactly as a mighty Jedi should.
Yeah.
But, as I said, there are two sides. Right now, we need to not look like mighty Jedi. For the betterment of our mission.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. That. I mean, Laura knows the place better. Yep. Do it.
Come on, kid. I'll make sure you still look very dashing. And I want to lead them towards Jan Kalea, where we can maybe get some disguises.
All right. And as you guys head towards Jan Kalea, the camera is going to pan back over to the wreckage of the ship. All of the lights are off. The consoles have been all but destroyed. And all of a sudden, something lights up and we see the words incoming transmission.
Oop.
And we'll cut back over to the four of you. Now, as you guys are going about getting disguises and things like that, this is one of those situations that I think can be resolved best in a montage. So we're
Yes.
going to go down the line. Each of you give me a clip from this montage of what is happening as you guys are shopping for disguises. So I would love to just pick someone and put them on the spot, but I feel like that would be too cruel. Who wants to jump in and go first? And then I will take us down the line.
I just need to say right off the bat, I'm not getting a disguise. I am already dressed in Coruscanti appropriate garb, and also with my force powers, I have a very neat trick of being able to go unnoticed anyway. So I am definitely the girl in the romantic comedy that's like sitting on the couch in front of the dressing rooms and just sort of watching these three come out and sort of shaking my head or giving thumbs up or thumbs down as this is going on.
Love
I
that
think-
image.
Yeah,
ahead,
I think
Rev.
for Rendul, it's a much simpler transition. He comes out with just a coat, like mid-thigh coat, and has removed the mask from his shoulder and has kind of put it on his hip so that it can't be seen. And the rest of the stuff is actually pretty nebulous. So it's the simplest one. He just
Looks good.
a nice blue coat.
Utambu, having never been to any place to purchase clothes before, has come out with the prettiest things that he can find. There is a wide-brimmed hat with a few like metal bands around it and stars that seem to like rotate between the bands, and he has a bright purple scarf, and then he has a white cut crop top, essentially his vest but just cut in half, and then underneath that the baggiest purple pants.
What Kanan does is something that the other people, because I assume we're all like doing the shopping montage together,
Yeah.
or are we splitting off? Kanan seems to not understand how to not dress like someone who is very clearly someone that should be stolen from, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense.
Depending, I think Laura might kind of pick up on this a little bit, but Kanan, a lot of the outfits that Kanan takes and wears are outfits that are kind of like things that are currently like high fashion options for Alderanian nobles and nobility and higher echelon folk, which of course in Coruscant is going to scream, "Please mug me! I have so much money. Please mug me! I am a lost tourist. You can." But like he doesn't seem to like. That's not why he's getting it. He just is like, yes, that one. I remember the people who were that's fashionable, and then like kind of maybe like picks like a bunch of things that maybe don't quite go together. But it's all kind of like those hallmarks of like high end garments. Maybe a little bit mismatching.
Beautiful. And so we will then fade from the montage up to the four of you, newly attired except for Laura, standing in front of a neon sign that in Arabesh says Hypnotic Sheep. And rounding out this scene is a little street urchin that is standing right behind the five of you, reaching his hand into Kanan's pocket. And I just see Laura looking back, seeing it happening, and just smacking the little kid's hand away as this happens.
And as that happens, I sort of smack the hand and shake my head a little bit, but then I reach into my pocket and I pull out a couple credits and I flip them to him.
And he looks at you amazed, looks down at the credits, and then runs off into the crowd. Now you all find yourselves at this cantina. What do you want to do?
But this is a cantina. I believe you have told me about these before, Laura. Scum, villainy, drinks that knock you on your posterior and such.
Uh-huh.
Why is this the best place to get information?
Because when people are inebriated, they tend to be very chatty, Utambu.
Ah, I do not understand.
Sometimes when people are relaxing, they feel uninhibited and more likely to tell the truth, even if under ordinary circumstances, not in a cantina, they would not as easily offer up that information. You're going to be great. Just be your charming self. Just maybe don't try the drink special.
And he adjusts his hat. I look forward to this.
Now, the loud bass of the music thumps around the four of you as you step into this dark, seedy cantina. This is a lower level Coruscant Cantina. There are all sorts of types in here, from Nautilans to Aqualish to humans, although the humans find themselves largely outnumbered in here. But just about every normal race you can picture in Star Wars, you see two or three of them in this crowded bar. Right around the center of the bar, in a long circular type bar, yeah, that's the right word. In a long circular bar, you see a Twi'lek woman with green skin and tan patterns on her leku, which leku are the head tails that Twi'leks have. With with black eyes, slinging drinks to the various clientele. And as you start stepping through the almost smoky atmosphere, Rendell, your eyes pick up that one of her eyes has a strange metallic glint to it.
I think I will point that out to Laura.
Cybernetics?
Seems like it. I don't know what it could be connected to, but it might be nice not to get our faces seen too many places quite yet.
Yeah. All right. I just want to pull my hood up a little bit. I think I want to go over towards the humans.
All right. And you see a little cluster of them off to the corner of the circular bar. That makes no sense. There are no corners in a circular bar.
It's the future, man.
Found a
But
way.
They found
see
a way. They squared
you
that
see
circle.
You see a small little pocket of humans in tan jumpsuits. There are two men and one woman, and they all have short cropped brown hair. They almost look like siblings, but you couldn't tell for sure. They could just all go to the same hairdresser and work at the same gig. But they appear to be relaxed and slinging back some drinks at the bar itself.
I haven't been to the sheep in a while. What's good?
One of the men turns to you. Oh, Acatonian sunrise is always good. And he takes a long swig of his drink.
I'm more of a fuzzy tauntaun girl myself, but I'll take that recommendation.
All right. Valen, he calls out to the Twi'lek tending bar. An Acatonian sunrise for my friend here. She nods, and you notice her almost roll her eyes as he calls out. But within about 30 seconds, you see a tall pink drink in what looks like a space martini glass set in front of you.
I will I will sip it. And towards the bartender, I will flash my eyebrows ever so slightly in a this guy kind of attitude, but drink my drink.
And she returns an almost imperceptible nod.
So, do you work around here?
Yep. Maintenance. Senate building. You?
This and that. So you must have been up, if you were in the Senate building, you must have been pretty close to all that blaster fire I was hearing last night.
Blaster.
Yeah.
Oh. Not over at the Senate building, but
Wow.
there's a lot of gangs around here. They're fighting for control. They want their turf.
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty far away from it, but I was seeing a bunch of ships and blaster fire out near that dump that used to be the Jedi Temple.
Who was that? Morel, was that, is that Coruscant territory? And the woman with him just looks over at him and shrugs. Yeah, Coruscants then. Mostly Shadrafan that occupy that gang. They've been controlling the temple for as long as I know.
Huh.
But yeah, you probably heard of them though. Why am I wasting your time yammering on?
Have I heard of that? I do have skills in underworld knowledge.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an average knowledge underworld check.
Okay. Let me see.
We love the rolls.
We love the
'em.
rolls. All right. Cool. So that
Go.
is 1, 1. So that is 1 success and 2 advantages.
Beautiful. So, yes, you are familiar with the Coruscant Syndicate on this planet. And you know that it is primarily made up of Shadrafan, though there are several other alien races fit in there. And if you're not familiar with Shadrafan, I'm not surprised. They're one of the lesser known Star Wars races. They look like little people. They're about 3 to 4 feet tall at the most, but their faces look like the face of a bat. So they have, in fact, you might have seen one in A New Hope. In the cantina scene, there is one of them that shakes something back and forth briefly. I don't know why I'm bringing up random moments from a movie that lasted only 2 seconds, but that is where they first appeared in Star Wars. And for more random, useless Star Wars trivia, tune in every week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
We're getting right into the deep lore here. That one dude who appeared for 2 seconds in the first movie got his race down on lock.
And I sense everyone pulling back, so I'm just going to sink back into my chair. So yes, the Coruscant Syndicate is made up primarily of Shadrafan, although there are several other, there are small numbers of other races intermixed with them, but they deal primarily in smuggling and arms dealing. And now, since you have 2 advantages, you tell me, what are 2 things you know about them?
Oh boy.
Their weakness.
Not gonna lie, this is my favorite part of the game.
Yes. No, I got it. All right. So with my 2 advantages, I think one of my advantages, I think I know a contact in the Coruscant Syndicate who I have occasionally talked to for information before. And I think my other advantage is that for their smuggling operations, they're not as careful with the security as they should be. I think I know a few of the bypass codes into some of their buildings.
Awesome. Just making a note of that. Now, you know one other thing about the Corrat Syndicate, and that is that they are bitter rivals with another gang. Another gang known as the Tyrak Syndicate. So that is what you know as you talk to Drunky McGee at the bar.
Yep.
Wow. Barely touched your sunrise there, sweetheart.
It was good, but I think I'll keep trying it. Maybe it will wear on me eventually. But thank you for the drink. I didn't get your name.
My name?
Mm-hmm.
Mars Anorn.
Hey, what's that over there? And while he looks, I want to use my force power to just sort of stealth out of this situation.
Force power, ghosting.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me a force die.
Absolutely.
I wish. What's that over there?
Two light side.
Okay, you can spend each points to make him unable to or him or one other person unable to perceive you.
Yep. And I will make him unable to perceive me as I leave my drink behind and just disappear into the crowd of this cantina, not giving him my name.
All right. So before we join back up, let's pass it around. As Laura is up to this in the bar, what are the rest of you doing?
I think Kanan has the mind that he should be doing what Laura's doing, which is get a drink somewhere and try and talk to someone. But he sucks at it. So he's just going right up to the bar and says, "Your finest drink, please." It's very clear he has no idea what he's doing. And does not vibe.
And the Twi'lek barkeep looks up at you and says, "You got the credits, honey?"
Yep.
Finest drink. You got it. And she steps away and then steps back with a glass of a blue milky liquid that she sets in front of you. One bantha milk.
And I'll pay what it's required.
Oh yeah, we don't need to worry about
Okay.
the credits for drinks.
Yeah. He'll
27
like kind of
credits.
like take it and kind of like put one elbow on the bar, kind of, and like drink it and then see what happens.
All right. So you drink the bantha milk, and it has a surprisingly chalky taste to it as you slurp it down, and it almost sticks in your throat a little bit. And the Twi'lek barkeep is standing there watching you as you drink it.
Does it taste alcoholic, or has she just given me regular milk?
Or she's just giving you regular bantha milk.
Kind of.
But does he know?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I know. I don't think Kanan's had alcohol before.
Oh, God.
So I think he might just assume that he's just really good at holding his shit. He kind of just like lets down and. I think there's like an awkward staring contest for a minute as he kind of like thinks of what he could say at this point. Crazy fight last night, huh?
What fight are you referring to? There were no fights in my place. You might be thinking of my sister's place.
there was I had a huge firefight out by the old temple building the other day. Last night, in fact.
Oh,
And then he has like a big gulp of the drink because like he thinks he's hard shit and like can just take it and it's like, yeah, I'm real cool.
yeah, I don't pay too much attention to what the rats are up to. There's always something going on down there at the temple.
Okay. Good talking to you. And he turns, just leaves. The awkwardness like catching up on him.
You, and as you're walking away, she just says, "You as well." How about Utambu and Renduel? What are the two of you up to at this juncture?
I am watching the Twi'lek that with what seems like the cybernetic eye, just to see what they are doing during these various interactions.
So she's very clearly adept at her job of tending bar. Like she's mixing things up very quickly, but every now and then, uh, and it usually happens when someone new enters into the bar and comes up to order a drink. She'll spend maybe 10 seconds or so just looking them right in the eyes. And I think you watch this happen with Kanan.
Boy, I wish I was any more up to date on technology. I can't tell if she's maybe scanning everybody to see who's coming into her bar, making a record. Either way, we might find Kanan's picture on a carton of milk tomorrow morning.
Especially a carton of Bantha milk. You know? It's sponsored now. Sponsors hell.
Tonight's stream brought to you by Bantha Milk.
Oh, but Utambu wasn't there. He's breakdancing.
Yes.
He's just out there. He's killing it. He's doing great. He's having a good time dancing. No, he's actually like in the same way. Just the hat goes in the air. He's like windmilling, and he gets back up, and the hat lands. I never knew it could be this invigorating. But almost in the same sense as with the cargo hold, where your back is to Utambu and you are looking at the Twi'lek, his back is to you, and he is just combing the crowd, kind of trying to get like a vibe of each individual as the voice from earlier is still ringing in his ears, and he still doesn't quite know what to look for and where to. So what better place than any place they go to with lots of people?
Okay.
But he hears what you say as well, and he's just like, all technology has far past me, Renduel, so I apologize that I will not be of much help at this time, but keep your eyes out still. The voice that I heard, they may need us soon, especially with the danger that we saw at the temple.
Yeah.
And at that moment, Renduel, you feel a buzzing on your comlink.
I'll reach into my jacket and check it.
All right, and you see you have an incoming transmission.
I'm gonna kind of lean around Utambu to show him, and then try to get into a quieter corner.
All right.
Corner of a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, this part of the circle, it's very pointy. Let's go
Very
here.
pointy.
It's like a speech bubble. It's like, oh, hello, right here. This is where we talk.
But yeah, he would fall behind with Renduel and almost still kind of like
eyes peeled, looking throughout the entire place as we go to a more secluded area to check what's on the comlink.
Okay. So you go to pull it up, and a tiny little hologram pops out of your comm. And you see a young human man in some kind of official uniform. And he looks at you and says, "Oh, hello, am I reaching Amanda Lee?"
No. What's the message?
We're trying to get in touch with Amanda Lee regarding the Dustbuster 9000. Um, there, the message that we received was that there were Jedi traveling aboard that vessel, and my employer is very interested in contacting them. Can you direct me in the right place?
Boy, I think this is a moment of looking to Utambu.
It is most unfortunate what happened to the Dustbuster and those aboard it. He's not good at being coy, but he's kind of just like looking at you to kind of.
Yeah. There was an accident. We were able to comb through the wreckage. Just mostly scrap left of the ship. Didn't seem like there were any survivors when we arrived.
Oh, but you were able to obtain this comlink there. We had it registered as one of the passengers aboard the vessel.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. We weren't. Didn't expect to get any calls. We thought we'd have sold this stuff off by now. We just came across the wreckage and grabbed what we thought we could get a decent credit for.
Okay. Well, Rev, give me an average deception check.
Could I be assisting him as I am a second voice trying to add to this story? As I did say, it is unfortunate what happened to.
Yes, based on what you said, yes.
Okay.
I was trying to think for a second because I could not figure out in my head, is Utambu a help or a hindrance here? But I think you've been helpful. So
Okay. 3 advantages and 1 success.
Nice.
okay.
Assuming
Just
I
hang
rolled
up.
the correct dice. 2 green, 2 purple, and a blue.
You rolled the correct dice, and I'm proud of you.
Nice. Look at that.
All right. Congratulations. We can end the session now. No. So, with your success, he clearly believes you. What good things do you want him to think?
That the stuff that we salvaged might be of use to his employer, so that he still wants to meet us thinking we want to sell this stuff.
That is awesome. Okay. Any other good things you want to come out of this? They don't have to necessarily be deception related, but they can be
Yeah.
tertiary.
I think gosh. I think that these the comm links, because I don't know that they're necessarily going to want those, but they might want, other stuff, will be perceived as like, I don't know how this works, if it's like a cell phone, but if it's like our comms are now perceived as open channel, not assigned to the 4 of us anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Okay.
the way this works is they're not tied to your identities, but they were picked up and registered as the ship entered orbit and as it was registered as you came into this planet. It's part of the security features on here.
Okay. So yeah, they kind of reset that. Yeah, I think those
Okay.
are the two things that spring to mind.
Perfect. So he looks dejected for a minute, says, "Well, did you find any bodies?"
Unfortunately,
That is unfortunate. What all were you able to salvage from the wreckage?
we were able to get some cases of. I'll be honest, we haven't opened them yet. There was a droid that survived. Maybe some personal effects.
And at that moment, someone pushes this man aside, and an elderly human woman with long hair and a cane in her right hand comes into view. And Kim, if you would do me a favor and bring this person into view.
Remind me their name.
Vima. This woman looks at you and says, "You're saying there were no survivors whatsoever that you encountered, just corpses."
Yes,
That is very, very unfortunate. Would you do me the honor of giving me first right of refusal on everything you've found? I will gladly take this salvage off your hands at whatever is a fair price.
yes, of course. We'd be happy to meet you.
Very well. Is there a meeting place of your choosing? If not, I can send you coordinates to my office.
That would be wonderful.
Very well. I will have my assistant send you those coordinates then, forthwith. Tell me, though, how many bodies did you find?
I no, I think it's another just kind of glancing over. 3.
3. Good. That is better than I anticipated. Very well. I will speak to you shortly. If you could meet me at your earliest convenience at the coordinates that I send to you, I would appreciate it.
Of course.
Farewell. And it clicks off. And a moment later, coordinates pop up on your comlink. And you can see immediately that they are coordinates for the Republic Senate building. And there are directions in there of a specific office number that you're to go to.
We should grab the other two and chat.
Yes. Pull out information. See where we go to next. And Utambu, obviously probably the easiest person to spot, kind of like looks over and sees the two younger Jedi, and he gives you both, and then walks out.
Where's Kanan?
Kanan is somewhere very just like in the process of trying to like be kind of subtle about everything that they're doing, is just drawing attention. So they might be like trying to like relax on like the corner of like the wall. It's kind of like, you know, do the brooding thing in the corner, but they walked there first, looking like they do, and then like leans against it and going with a fucking glass of milk. So when the others are like head out, he kind of goes, "Aha!" He kind of like chugs the rest, puts it down. I kind of looks at someone and goes, "Yes, I can chug it," and then walks out.
I'll
The four
tip
of you.
the Twi'lek a couple credits. Say he's new to the planet. Thanks for being hospitable.
I know.
And I sort of gesture to the eye. I figured, but I didn't want to be rude.
I appreciate it.
And I'll go.
So the four of you find yourselves together again outside of the hypnotic sheep.
So I worked something out. The one of the gangs were called the Rats.
Close. Very, very good. That's very close to what I heard. The Korat Syndicate.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Amazing. I'm good at this.
Amazing.
Wipes some milk from his face.
We got a call from someone who wanted to know what happened to the passengers. They'd heard there were Jedi on the ship.
What did you say?
And we told her that we just were people who came across the wreckage and we had scavenged what we could to sell. And that there were 3 bodies found, and she seemed relieved that there weren't more bodies found, so
Scrog.
this could actually be an ally.
If I told my mom what ship we were coming in on, and if she hears that our ship crashed and there were bodies found, she's gonna druck a bantha.
Oh, is your mom in the Senate?
No.
Oh. Whoever contacted us sent us directions to meet with her to sell what we found. Directions lead right to an office in the Senate.
You'd be an ally, but it could very much be someone who was glad that there's not more dead because they wanted to capture us for some nefarious purpose.
That's true. As far as they know, we're just pillagers. So, everybody, when we meet them, keep your senses open. There's going to be a moment where we're going to have a decision to make about what we reveal. And I turn to Utambu. You know how to read people?
I know how to see the connection between myself and others that are connected to the Force. Yes, I can read people.
Well, let's see what kind of feeling you get.
What are the hours of the Republic Senate? I don't want us to go in and then turn us away.
Oh, what I hear, they never sleep, but they also never work. It's a real mishmash.
I don't understand that. Explain it to me.
It means
Painstaking
like
detail.
just constantly moving. A lot of what was it? Shakespeare, sound and fury with no. Anyway.
Well, what is a Shakespeare?
Shakespeare, is that an Outer Rim thing?
Yeah.
I'm from there.
I think it's a
maybe you know
game
it.
animal.
Did you not know?
I think I've eaten Shakespeare. Maybe.
Wait, so is it it's a real thing and you can eat it? What is...
Let's walk and talk.
Okay.
So the
This is
five
why
of
we
you
make
set
this
off.
is why we make a good team, you and I.
So the 5 of you set off. But Utambu, you feel something as the 4 of you and B3 start to walk away. A little tremor as you step away from the bar, and you pause and look behind you for a moment. And you see a beautiful woman, nearly humanoid, but with short, almost snowy blonde hair and regal looking robes, striding past you and heading into the bar. And she turns and almost locks eyes with you for a moment. But when you see her eyes, what you notice is that there are no eyes. and there's almost a butterfly-shaped mask spiking out in different tendrils in different directions, covering where her eyes would be. But at the same time, your gazes lock for a moment. And then she turns and walks into the bar, fading out of your view.
That woman. He kind of like catches himself and looks at everyone. I apologize. We should stick to the task at hand. And he's kind of like his eyes still kind of shift back to the cantina.
And we'll fade up on the Republic Senate building. It doesn't take you terribly long to get there. I don't assume that you walk, because walking would take you a very long time. But it is quite easy to nab a little air taxi or something of the like and make your way across the city towards the Senate building. The grandeur of this structure, I think, almost awes you. Maybe not Laura, because she's probably seen something like this in the past. And Rendul, you've heard of structures like this in the past, but probably never seen one. The nearest you've come to is probably the Jedi training facility that you've spent most of your life at on Telos. But the building just towers over you in a giant, I hate to use the word mushroom, but in a giant mushroom-like structure that expands out as it goes up. People go to and fro all around this building. There is a wealth of activity all around you, and you can see as you've made your way over to here, you're no longer in any kind of a seedy area. The people all around you are dressed finely and appear to be walking with um, good posture, for lack of a better word. And they're standing tall and moving around and acting as if they are important people. And then there's the five of you, dressed to the nines, standing in front of this building. You have directions to an office within the Senate building. What do you want to do?
It would be fortuitous that we do not keep them waiting, especially with such clear instructions.
I agree.
And I think Utambu would kind of try to take the lead on this one, primarily knowing that we might have to be making that decision here soon. How much they get to know.
Yeah.
And I think that this is such a minor thing, but I think out of habit, as we start to enter this building, that Rendul takes up a position in the back instead of like directly behind Utambu.
And what does this look like for Kanan?
Kanan feels is Kanan is somewhat is completely ignorant of how much of a fool he looked like earlier. But he kind of feels like, okay, starting to feel a bit more comfortable, like this feels more like an adventure now. It feels good. You can deal with this. This is great. Seeing someone important. Negotiations. Don't think about the dead body you saw about an hour ago. Everything's fine. He's still got like a hand, kind of, because his lightsaber is going to be stashed somewhere. His hand is like always like twitch ready away from that, just out of a habit, and thinking, just kind of trying to feel he feels more comfortable when he can be able to be in a fight. Um, so it's kind of like preparing for something like that, just because it kind of makes him feel more at ease with his own role and things. But he's also dressed pretty well, and he knows how to he knows upper class people a bit better. So he's a little more comfortable at the moment.
So the five of you have no trouble making your way through the Senate building. It's not something where you walk in and go to a reception area and ask to be directed where you need to go. People are just going where they're supposed to go. People are walking around with a sense of purpose. And I think, as you have described, you're kind of doing the same right now. With Utambu leading the way, you find yourselves standing outside of a large, imposing door in one of the corridors as you've made your way up to the fourth or fifth level of this building. And outside of the door, on a nameplate, it has the words Senator Sunrider.
Do we know that name by any chance?
Sounds very familiar.
Is she my senator? Have I voted for this woman?
Oh,
No.
She didn't.
You could absolutely know who this person is, and I'm going to say either give me a knowledge lore, a average knowledge lore check, or roll me a force die.
I've got good lore.
That one light side point that I had, did that just kind of go away, or do I still have that kind of in the ether?
No, you spend them for what
Yep.
you're attempting at that time.
I figured. Well, I'll try it again.
And everyone go ahead and roll me a check to see if you know of this person.
2 light side again.
All right.
Average knowledge lore. Yeah, I'll do that. So this is fun. I rolled a success, a failure, an advantage, and a threat, so nothing. Everything cancels out.
Okay, a straight up wash. You know nothing.
Yeah, I have nope. Nothing happens.
Lore is my good one. I've got a success and 3 advantages.
No thoughts, head empty.
Okay.
Full
Is it
heart
average?
Yes.
Okay. Beep. Got an advantage.
Okay. So I know what the advantages will be in this case. Utambu, with your advantage, you know that you know of this name. You've definitely heard it before in your life. Kim, with Laura's light side points, you get a sense as you see the name Sunrider, and I will get to you on what that means in a minute.
Okay.
But Rev, you said 1 success and 3 advantages.
Mm.
You know the name Sunrider, and I think that we stretch back to your early days at the Great Library of Ossus, where you learned of the great Jedi Nomi Sunrider, who is famous in the days of the Old Republic. She is one of the masters that sat on the Jedi Council back in her prime. And she is famed for her ability to strip another's connection to the Force. She famously used it against the great Sith Ulic Keldroma before he came back to the light side. You know of Nomi Sunrider. And with your advantages, I think you know that she died in the Jedi Civil War. You know that before her, her husband was a Jedi, and she took up the mantle that he left when he was killed in front of her. And you know that she had a daughter. Kim, You reach out through the Force at this point, and your vision goes hazy. You see a young woman, 22, 23, with a shock of red hair streaming back from her head over her back, grasping a green lightsaber in her hand with a broad smile on her face. And as you see this young woman, you hear in your head the name Vima. And your vision clears as the door in front of you opens. And before you stands the woman that Rev, Renduel, and Utambu saw on the hologram. She has long white hair streaked with red, and she stands with a cane and looks you in the eyes, says, "Thank you for coming to meet me. It is imperative that I talk to you." End of session.
Whew.
Perfect.
I feel like a lot happened.
Yeah. Oh.
Got a whole Coruscant adventure, and the adventure ain't even over.
It's true.
The adventure ain't even started.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Oh wow. Thank you, Andrew, for an incredible episode 1 of Star Wars Force and Destiny. Incredible, and definitely looking at the reactions in chat, like right now, and also all through the stream. The Force is strong in the Crit Crew chat, and they're loving the lore and the nerdy moments. So more of those if you feel so inclined in the future. So once again, thank you, chat, for joining us. I am Kim from the Crit Show. I just want to go ahead and pass the focus around to everyone around me, including Rev. Let people know where they can find you. Starting with Andrew.
So, once again, I am Andrew Mours. If you feel so inclined to find me anywhere, you can find me on Twitter at Andrew Mours. And I forgot I do have Instagram at Andrew G. Mours as well. So that is where you can find me for pictures of my children and things that I am cooking and other nerdy, other
Nice.
nerdy things.
Oh yeah.
Will.
Sure. I'm Will. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as Laugh Analysis. Because I'm a total nerd and stuff, which is always good. Yeah. Sup. Oh, God.
That was very Kanan.
Oh, don't.
That's it. That was it.
It's
He's like,
adding
oh
that
no,
to canon.
someone's
Canaan
someone's already clipped that and made it a GIF, just so you know.
Oh,
Cool.
Little did
you
you
do it
know
on the internet, it lasts forever.
It's true.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's my legacy.
Hi, I've been and am Percy Davis, Big Purse, all the other stuff. Catch me on Twitter at Big Purse Universe. That's it. I love Star Wars, y'all. I got a Star Wars heartache over here. Oh
Man. I'm Rev. You can find me anything that's worth knowing about me. You can find at the Crit Show. I have also other social medias. You can follow me to see that I never post on them. I just use them to like things.
Valid.
Oh, fantastic. And thank you to Twitch chat was on fire, so I'm just gonna very quickly burn through a bunch of thank yous. Thank you to our new followers: Star Fox Rocks, Constrictor, Matin Chops, Hearts Me Thrill, Mythical Token, Own Donkeys, Gandalf 421, Lords and Ladies of Fate, and Felix Feltfinger. Thank you to the subscribers: Julie Phoenix, Xavier Nil, Phoebe, Fiery One, Hypnotic Sheep, Jesse Sky, and Rev. Thank you. Gift subs. Thank you, Josh. Amtrak, Star Fox Rocks. I am a T-Rex, Mono Technicolor. Thank you for your donations of bits. Amtrak, Sumwana Lace. I am a T-Rex, and Seamus. And thank you for the raid, Lords and Ladies of Fate. And if I have missed anything, I apologize. My notifications were in full force this entire stream, and I appreciate it. More of that, please.
Someone's just clipped it.
Yes.
Someone's clipped
Fantastic. I'm so glad. All right. So looking ahead to our next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern is going to be Mystery Detectives. Megan is not with us this week, so I'm going to be flying solo with a puzzle game. I'm going to be doing some unpacking, which just came out and looks like a very chill puzzle game where you unpack a lot of boxes. And I'll probably do some tarot reads if you want to hang out and chat with me, and we'll just have a nice, very chill time. And then next Monday, the 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, please join us for episode 2 of Star Wars Force and Destiny with myself, Rev, guest GM Andrew, and our guest players Percy and Will. Can't wait to see what happens. If you missed this stream, or if you want to go back and watch any of it, you can head on over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thecritshow. This episode will be posted there on Thursday morning, and you can also check out the previous episodes from earlier chapters of the Omniverse Chronicles, including I Hunt and Masks and Crossroads Carnival, and our most recent Omniverse Chronicle, Afterlife Wandering Souls. All of that is up there, as well as assorted one-shots that the Crit Show cast has done, as well as some video game Let's Plays. So go ahead and give that a subscribe so that you'll be the first to know when this episode goes live on Thursday. Am I missing anything, Rev?
I don't think so. If you missed part of this and you can't wait till Thursday, you can watch. It'll stay here for 13 days or something like that.
Yeah, like
as
2
soon
weeks.
as we stop, it'll be up pretty quickly afterwards.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Once again, thank you all so much. This was a fantastic episode 1, and we will see you next Monday for episode 2. Have a great night.